Hey guys, it's Sim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited. As tonight was both, actually tonight, and I don't know, hold on, give me 1 second. I don't know why we're running so choppy all of a sudden. It was fine before that. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. We should be fine now. Basically today, everything was WWE Wrestlepalooza and AEW All Out. We're going to talk both shows. This is, mainly a WWE Wrestlepalooza recap. But we will, at the front of the show, talk about AEW All Out, and I'll give you my thoughts on that show and how, technically it probably was the better show. But at least with the WWE show, I was never, completely bored throughout all of it. But there were lulls and times in the AEW show where I was bored, and that show felt long as shit. And they had a women's title match that was such a nothing match, even though we had a new champion, that going into it, I forgot that match was even happening. I tweeted out, and I'm like, oh, damn, we still have this coffin match, the four-way ladder match, and the world title match. And then someone goes, oh, yeah, there's a women's four-way, too. I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot about that. So we'll talk about that show as well. So not a full AEW recap, but I'm going to go over each match, give you my thoughts of each match, and tell you the winners and this, that, and so forth and whatnot. So we'll do a mini review of AEW All Out. But like I said, how do I explain this? I don't want to make it sound like I didn't like Wrestlepalooza, because I did. I enjoyed it from start to finish. But it felt like we were watching just a good Raw. And I think the reason for that is because and it could be different watching on ESPN, but I watched through Netflix. And between every match, there was a lot of downtime and commercial breaks, where we got the doom 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 music for 3 minutes at a time. There was one point going into the women's world title match where they did the big full video package hyping up the match, then went to a break, then came back for the intros in the match. What? You should have gone to the break first. But anyways, so that was the one thing with this show. It didn't feel like a normal pay-per-view. Because having the commercial breaks, it kind of felt like maybe a little better than a Raw or SmackDown, but maybe a Saturday night's main event, I guess you would say, if that makes a lot of sense. Messi says, thank you for the VPN. It helped me and not make me pay $30. That VPN, if you're talking about the previous VPN videos, cool. That VPN video from today almost got to shut down for a week because YouTube. So here's what happened. I make the video last night to post to this morning a VPN video. You know what I mean? Hey, if you still need a VPN to watch the show Wrestlepalooza on Netflix, here's how you do it. And I guess I didn't set it to upload properly, or no, I set it to upload properly, and YouTube took it down. I was like, what? Well, I re-uploaded it. And because I re-uploaded it, YouTube was like, oh, you can't do that. We're going to shut you down for a week. Community guideline strike. And I'm like, what? There's nothing wrong with the video. I think they thought we were trying to tell you how to go to onemax.top and completely just bypass and watch for free. You know what I mean? Illegal stream. And so I'm like, no. I'm not getting shut down for a week, because it was you can't post on the community tabs. You can't go live. You can't post a video for a whole week. First strike, first offense. And I'm like, you know what? Appeal. And then it says, appeals will take up to 72 hours. I'm like, fuck. I guess we're only going live on Twitch tonight. And then I was halfway to 3/4 of the way through All Out, I get an email saying, and I can read it to you right here. We get an email from YouTube that states, we've reached a decision on your appeal. And I see that headline and that title in the email, and I'm like, oh, do I even click it? Click it. And it goes, we have reviewed the appeal of the following video, how to watch Wrestlepalooza on Netflix in the US with a free VPN. And it says, after taking a look, we confirm that your content does not violate community guidelines. And I'm like, oh, thank Jesus. So that is why we didn't have a All Out preview video. That's why we didn't have a Wrestlepalooza preview video. Was all ready to, post those. And I made them, but there was no use, because by the time this, we got this, which was 5:07 Central. So 3/4 of the way into the AEW show. That show was already almost over. And there was really not enough time to post a preview video for the WWE show if it was starting within like the hour. If it was starting in less than an hour, like it wasn't even worth it to post it that close. And Elite says Tim needs to be careful. Be careful. We've posted 2 previous used VPNs to watch WWE on Netflix video and had no problems. So I think they thought because I might have put the word free, watch for free, they thought it was like telling people how to go to an illegal stream, and the automated system flagged it instead of a real person checking it and flagging it. You know what I mean? I think that's what happened. They thought maybe we were telling you how to go to watch wrestling or something. That's not allowed. That is not allowed. How to illegally get things. Like if you go on YouTube about 5 to 6 years ago, you had all these people making bank, and I mean bank, millions of views on one video. How to jailbreak your Amazon Fire Stick. How to watch every NFL game, even if you're not in the market, on your Amazon Fire Stick. How to watch every movie still in theaters on your Amazon Fire Stick. And there were guys like Tombstone and a couple others, I can't remember their names now because they're not around anymore, that were making these videos weekly. Hey, here's how to use Kodi. Here's how to set up Kodi. Here's how you could do this to do this, and this to do this, and get this for free, and watch this for free, and get this streaming service. And oh, you don't want to pay for cable? Here. This is basically just like having cable. All these different, how to use Mobsdrobe and how to use all this stuff. And eventually, YouTube said that teaching people how to do things illegally is against community guidelines. They've made new community guidelines for basically teaching people how to get illegal streaming content, I guess you would say. And so I think the automated system may have thought that's what my video was, teaching people how to get illegal streams of WWE. So, but yeah, no, there were guys like Tombstone that he'd post a video and within like 2 days, it hit 1 million views because he teaches people, you know, here's the new thing in Kodi that makes this run better, this run smoother, better quality for this, how to get, you know, what was it? Avengers Endgame's in theaters, how to watch Avengers Endgame. They just came out yesterday in theaters on your Amazon Fire Stick now, and like stuff like that. And that is no longer allowed on YouTube. Now you go on and you search like how to watch free TV shows on your Amazon Fire Stick, and it's just like, oh, the app for Pluto TV got an update. Check it out. Like, oh, or you want to set your own Plex server up. Then you could take all the videos that you own and put them on your Plex server and view them on your Amazon Fire Stick. It's like, oh, yeah. No one over here telling you how to use Sports Fusion or what's the other one? It starts with a D. Oh, I can't remember the name now. But yeah, no one teaching you all that stuff anymore. Oh, you want to watch the Colorado Avalanche, but you live in Texas, not in your market? Here's how to do it. I know how to do it, but I can't make videos on how to do it because literally I was going to start a channel in like 2018, 2019, how to do that kind of stuff. Because I really got into it and I learned all the right ways and the best ways, and it's a whole thing. And right when I was about to start that channel is when all the other guys like Tombstone and stuff were talking about, well, we might be going away. Well, we have to go to a different kind of model to give you this content because YouTube's not going to allow it much longer. So I think that's what happened. Long in the tooth explanation there. I think that's what happened. They thought I was teaching you the illegal way to do it, how to get an illegal stream. So, yeah, that was a scary time when I was like, fuck, can't post for a week. No. But we're all good. As you could tell, since there are over 50 of you, I got hair in my mouth all of a sudden, over 50 of you watching on YouTube. I was like, man, we're going to have to go Twitch only. And I don't even know if people are going to know to go to Twitch. And maybe some will, but most probably won't. Oh, crap. And we're good, though. We're good, though. I got a hair in my mouth. But anyways, so with all of that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different, couple of different ways. Remember, you can help us out by hitting that donate button down below on Twitch, or hitting the donating Twitch bits in the live chat, just like esports gaming rules. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of 2 different ways. I'm going to burp again. You can help us out by hitting that donate button or hitting the subscribe button either with a tiered subscription or Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here. Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Just going to say it messy. Don't put fake news in the chat. And if that's not fake news, it sounds like fake news. You're over here saying they're going to do champ versus champ at Crown Jewel Perth. They haven't officially announced that yet. They might do that because of what they did last year with the Crown Jewel Championship, but they haven't officially announced that. So we're not going to talk about that until WWE announces it, because that was supposed to be a Saudi Arabia thing with the Crown Jewel belt staying in Saudi Arabia and all of that. So they could still do that, but they haven't said they're doing that in Perth. So that's the thing. That's why I haven't talked about it, mentioned it, or even brought it up. Because if the company hasn't talked about it yet, I'm not going to talk about it, because it was supposed to be a Saudi thing only. Also, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube. You can hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we go live, when we post new videos, and when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, you can help us out by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get a badge next to your name, emotes and emojis you can use in the live chat. You get access to our graphics packages and our graphics tutorials. Also, remember, and one other thing I got to tell you. Right now, we're under a severe thunderstorm warning. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's thunder going off every 5-10 seconds. There's lightning going off outside my house every 3 to 5 seconds. And it's super, super windy. The trees are going woof, woof, like just, crazy. It's raining sideways. So just in case like the stream goes down or we buffer or have any kind of quality issues, that's why. Super bad storm outside right now. Like really bad. Like people were saying, be ready in case the tornado sirens go off bad. So anyways, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube also with a super chat. Donate a super chat. You get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air. Finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you can support us at no extra cost. Maybe you're looking to get Borderlands 4 on PC. Go over there. Silent Hill F. Or you want the new John Cena skin in Fortnite. They got that Peacemaker skin. Go over there, buy that, use our code, and help us out. Also, remember, the free games right now are Project Winter, which I've heard good things about but never played, and game I've never heard of, Samorost 2. Haven't heard of that one, but those are the free games right now on the Epic Game Store. With all of that, I'm pulling up the card for my notes. I didn't really take notes. Basically, just like winner, couple moments. Here we go. So let me pull up my notes. For some reason, I thought I pulled them up, but I didn't. We'll talk All Out first. Actually, let's get to these super chats or bit donations as well before we do all of that. Esports Gaming Rules does state, love the new WWE Then, Now, Forever Together intro, connecting the different WWE eras, and it looks like we got the return of the Crown Jewel Championships for the first time outside of Saudi. Now, again, you're saying that too. Who, when, and where did they say anything about the Crown Jewel Championships? Did I miss something on this show? Because Messi said it, now you're saying it. Hold on. Let's do a little bit of a search here. Crown Jewel Ships. Did they actually state that we're doing that? If they are, then I apologize to Messi. Oh, wait. Okay. I apologize, Messi. I completely apologize. They are doing that, and they actually teased it on the post show, which I was not watching. I turned the post show off after excuse me. I turned the post show off after Punk and AJ. So they did tease Cody versus Seth. Okay. But Messi, I apologize for saying you put fake news in the chat. I 100% completely apologize. They are going to do champions versus champions, Crown Jewel Championships. Apparently, Michael Cole also stated it during the show. But I'm going to watch this video really fast and live commentate it with you. Give me 1 second, guys, because this is a clip from the post show. So Cody's on the post show. Also, I don't know if you guys saw the post show. I did actually see one thing from the post show with Cody. Cody walked out. So I turned it off right as Cody was walking out. Cody had a hat on. Cody walked out, went to throw his hat into the crowd, and didn't realize the entire stage was surrounded by netting. When he threw it, it hit the net and fell. That's the only thing I saw of Cody out there. But let's live react to this video. Seth is walking out as Cody is looking a little dejected on the post show. Not playing the audio or the video. So Cody's coming out, they're singing his song, and Cody looks a little upset. Seth's slowly walking out. He's got street clothes on. His hair's up in the man bun. Cody gets up. WWE title in hand. Seth got the world heavyweight over his shoulder. Honestly, I'm more excited for Cody and Seth than I was Cody and Gunther last year. Why? Because I didn't think there was any way Cody would lose to Gunther. I think this match can go either way. Seth holds his belt up. Cody's looking like, oh, you want to one-up me, buddy. Cody holds his belt up just a little bit higher. Okay. So it looks like Cody versus Seth, Stephanie versus Tiffany. Well, maybe Tiffany, depending on if Tiffany comes out of SmackDown next week, still the champion. That we don't know yet. Could be Jade. All right, good to know. Again, I want to apologize to Messi for calling him out and calling him fake news when he wasn't. I didn't see that because we've been live. Also, one other thing that they kept saying on the post show, and I think Wade was also saying it during the broadcast. Are they really going to do Brock and Cena again? They kept playing it up like they're going to do it again. And I don't need to see it again. We'll talk about it all here in a moment or in a little bit. But yeah, that match was a nothing match. One big old nothing burger. But, and I accidentally closed my notes again for All Out. No, I didn't. There we are. But as far as what we're going to talk about first thing we're going to talk about is AEW All Out from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Canada. The show, I halfway watched the pre-show on TNT. It was the tailgate brawl. And my dumbass turns it on and goes, wait, they're not doing matches in the parking lot? How's this fucking tailgate? I worked myself into thinking that they were going to fucking do matches outside in the freaking parking lot because they called it the tailgate brawl. Tailgate means you're outside the building before the actual show starts. So, yeah. I worked myself into a little bit of a shoot there, I guess you would say. But basically I saw like the last match and kind of watched the rest of it. But the Ops, Mojo, and Powerhouse Hobbs defeated Anthony Hendry and JD Drake. Daniel Garcia defeated Katsuyori Shibata, and they did an angle on that during that match with Daddy Magic on commentary being like, Danny, why are you acting like this? Danny, talk to me. Danny. And he's like, we've always seen Danny get a little aggressive, and he's got this technical side to him. But now he's just straight up bad. And then we had the pair, the conglomeration, hologram, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong against the Frat House, Cole Carter, Griff Garrison, and Preston Vance. Didn't see any of that match. And then we had the 8-woman tornado tailgate brawl. And I'm sitting here like, tailgate? So shouldn't this match be taking place outside? Tornado tag? Like, what the fuck? Anyways, no. They just brought a bunch of barbecue stuff. Whoop. My monitor just shut off. There we go. They just brought a bunch of barbecue picnic and tailgate stuff into ringside, which was like, okay, sure. But it was Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Amanada, and Willow Nightingale defeating Megan Bayne, Penelope Ford, and the Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and Sky Blue. The main show starts, and it's Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus FTR. Dax Harwood's out there with his nose all taped up because apparently he broke his nose on Wednesday. And I don't know if the nose is broken, but that nose got messed up when Christian waffled him with the microphone. But good match. I thought these four worked well together as expected. And at one point, Stokely's at ringside just doing Stokely stuff, talking shit and da-da-da-da-da. And then music starts playing and nobody knows what it is. The crowd starts to stir, but we still got the camera on Stoke. And so eventually the camera turns and looks up the ramp and you see it says Beth. Beth Phoenix, well, as they called her, Beth Copeland, has made her AEW debut. She came out, grabbed Stokely, and took him to the back. So the match keeps going, and it's a really good match. I expected a little bit more out of it, but I thought it was still a really good match. And of course, Adam and Christian pick up the win. But then the patriarchy come out. We got Mother Wayne and Nick Wayne, and Kip Sabian shows up out of nowhere, and he grabs Cope and he handcuffs him. And so FTR's standing over him when Beth runs out. Well, AEW ain't afraid to do man-on-woman violence, unlike WWE, who barely did any. The worst thing WWE did tonight with man versus woman was Punk put Becky in a sharpshooter. But oh boy, FTR grabbed freaking Beth, kicked her in the gut, set her up and hit her with their spike pile driver. Yeah. As much as we've heard in the past, Tony doesn't really like man-on-woman violence. Oh, with Beth, they let him go full on. They let him go full on with Beth. So, yeah. So after all of that, Cope was like, "Someone get me out of this! Someone don't cut me out!" Because he's handcuffed to the ropes. He's like, "Get me out of this! Get me out of this!" And like Christian disappeared or whatever, and Mother Wayne was laughing and everything. And then so we'll see where this leads to. But Beth is now in AEW. She's been off the WWE roster for a while because I was trying to think if she was still on like the WWE active roster list or whatever. She's been off of that for a while. So yeah, I don't know if like they've just been waiting to bring her in, or if they couldn't bring her in until a certain time, and then with Cope gone for a while, they waited more. But yeah, Beth looks like to be now in AEW. We don't know in what capacity, like if she's in full time, if she's just here to do something with her husband, or if it's more. We don't know. But that was the big angle early on in the show. Beth Copeland showed up. Then we had Big Bill versus Eddie Kingston. This 7-minute match that to me felt more like just a nothing burger than anything. The whole thing was like, is Eddie Kingston really going to show? Is Eddie Kingston really going to show? Eddie says he's going to be here, but is he going to? And he showed up. And he looked pretty good for not having a match in 16 months. But I just felt like not much happened. It was just there. He wins. Gets beat up by Big Bill. Hook and his silly music play. He comes out. Helps because Brian Keith got involved afterwards. And then two New Yorkers leave together. Cool. Eddie Kingston and Big Bill. They leave together. Then we have Mark Briscoe versus MJF in a tables and tacks match. And MJF comes out and he unveils his robe and he's in all white. And he's got a shirt that says white collars rule or white something about white collar is better. And I'm like, oh, MJF's in all white. There's gonna be a lot of blood in this match. Because whenever MJF's gonna be in a bloody match, he wears all white to accentuate the blood on everything. The pants, the shirt, the whatnot. So that's the thing with MJF. When you see MJF's in all white, either he or his opponent's gonna bleed and bleed a lot. And so, early on in the match, MJF's just like, I don't want to do this. And he goes to leave. Mark then grabs a bucket and just starts basically circling the inside of the ring with tacks. Gets the second bucket and finishes off his circle. And eventually gets MJF in the ring, and they're doing this whole thing about, I don't want to be slammed on the tacks. I don't want to be slammed on the tacks. And that's the big schmoz of all of it. Slamming on the tacks. Am I going to get slammed on the tacks? The referee's hands are all taped up like whatever, and MJF's all taped up, and Briscoe's all taped up so their hands don't fall on the tacks. But eventually Mark does take a big scoop slam into the tacks. And like early on, he was going to go for a Russian leg sweep and thought better of it. And the commentary was like, yeah, in this kind of a match, you got to think about the moves you're going to do because you can't do all your regular moves. You got to do, moves that's going to hurt your opponent, but not also hurt you. And the match was fine. Like, I thought it was all right. Maybe a little better than all right, but it wasn't like a go out of your way to watch it kind of match. It was just hey, AEW's trying to be ECW. That's all this match was. AEW's trying to be ECW. They're not quite over the top deathmatch CZW and GCW, but they're ECW for sure in this match. And eventually, Mark Briscoe does get the victory, defeating MJF. There's like one table spot, maybe two that I remember in the match. And Mark wins with the froggy bow. And there we go. Mark took so much punishment on these tacks, though, to where he had tacks stuck to the back of his head. They got the tacks out and he was bleeding from the back of his head and everything. Then we had a match that I was completely bored in. Thought this match sucked to all hell. And when did Ricochet and the Gates of Agony start being called the Demand? Well, when did that become a thing? But it was the Demand defeating the Hurt Syndicate. And this match went 13 minutes and 45 seconds, and I didn't care from the jump about any of this. I didn't care about this match for a second. I was bored through the entire freaking match. But the Demand pick up the victory. There's like literally nothing to say about this match other than MVP needs to stay out of the ring. He ain't got it no more. They had to check on him after the match and everything. This man looked like he was dead. Elite Tish says, does ECW bleed as much as AEW does? I don't know, because I didn't watch ECW when it was a thing. I've just gone back and seen like people, recommend matches from ECW, so I'll go back and watch them. Hey, go check out this ECW match. Hey, go check out this ECW match. Or like they do a ECW compilation or a best of ECW, and I'll see those. But I've never gone back and like just watched a bunch of ECW on TNT or anything like that. Or yeah, no, not TNT, TNN. So I don't know, because I wasn't an ECW kid. I was a WWF kid. Moving forward, another match that was boring through the entire thing, 16 minutes of Mercedes Moné and Riho. Literally, I got nothing to say about this match, because literally nothing in this match stood out to me whatsoever. I didn't write a single note. I didn't write a single thing down, because nothing in this match, because I was only writing down highlights, because I know I'm not doing a full review of the show, and there was not a single highlight in this match. Mercedes wins, and I'm like, well, no shit, she won. You're not going to have Riho beat her. Not at all. So then we had Kazuchika Okada, Konosuke Takeshita, Masquerada Dorada for the Unified Championship. This match went 21 minutes, and this match was a blast. This match was so much fun. Masquerada Dorada out here doing lucha things. Okada's great working with lucha guys because he trained in Mexico. You think he would have trained in Japan? Nope. This man trained in Mexico. And a lot of great triple threat spots, a lot of great single spots back and forth. There's just a lot of cool lucha moves, a lot of big power moves from Okada, and then Takeshita would come in and do some power moves. And yes, Don was out there on commentary, but the thing is, yes, your manager and your second or whoever is not supposed to be out there because it's Continental rules, but they said as long as Don stays at the desk, as long as Don doesn't get involved, we're all good. The best thing about this match is about at the, 18, 19 minute mark. There was only a couple minutes left. Danielson stands up and is losing his shit because this match is so fun. This match is so cool. This match is so good. These three guys working together, and Brian's just like, this is awesome. Oh, hell yeah. And Don looks at him like, calm your tits, like basically. And eventually Okada does get the win. So Don gets in the ring with all the belts, gives them to Okada, but Takeshita gets in and stares it down with Okada. And they're basically like, oh, they're going to do the singles match, maybe even at Wrestle Dream. So then we got 4 matches left. And I'm like, oh, we got 4 matches. And WWE starts in an hour. Holy crap. So we go 20 minutes with Jon Moxley and Darby Allin in a coffin match. And these two are just beating the shit out of each other. And it's Darby doing his death spot moves. His not death spot moves, but like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue. Not death. Oh, what is it called? What was Evil Knievel? What was Robbie Knievel? Daredevil moves. There's Daredevil, big impact. I'm going to hurt myself to make it look cool moves. And like there was a spot where Moxley had Marina unwind the bottom rope and basically had Marina unwind the bottom rope, so they loosened it up. Death Riders come out and they get the coffin up and they push the coffin into the ring. So the coffin's in the ring and Moxley and Darby are fighting in the ring. And at one point, Moxley puts Darby's hand into the coffin and smashes the coffin on him. And I'm like, oh, that fucking hurt. Oh, that fucking hurt. Victor, where else do you want me to do this? I got no other room in this house. How else do you want me to set my setup up? Huh? You want me to make my 14 and 12-year-olds share a room so I have a dedicated office? No. You must be new to the channel. You must be new. Can't take it seriously with you till you make your bed. Well, first off, the bed is made. The bed is made, buddy. Anyways, so Darby gets his hand smashed in the coffin, and they're all fighting, and they keep asking Danielson on commentary. They're like, you promised Darby that you wouldn't get involved in this match. But then you had Darby promise you something. What was it? He's like, I can't say. I can't say. They asked him like 2 times, 3 times maybe. And he's just like, I can't say. I can't say. And so, Thomas, we're doing both. We're doing a quick review of AEW, and then we're going to go full in-depth on WrestlePalooza. I said that at the top. Thank you, Victor. 100% new. Gotcha. But yeah, no, this is how the setup's always been. I don't know what you mean by, how would you make the bed? Pull the sheet or pull the comforter up a little more, maybe? I don't know. How would you make the bed? That's how I've always made my bed. That's how the bed looks in every video. Anyways, thank you for the view, though. Thank you for the compliment there as well. I like your takes. But so they're fighting in the ring, and eventually Moxley sends all the Death Riders away because he thinks he's got it won. And then Darby ends up getting the advantage. Darby then goes over to commentary, and he like gets this bag handed to him by Danielson, and Excalibur goes, wait, I thought you said you weren't going to get involved. He goes, have I stood up? Have I got up from this desk in my chair? No. So don't worry about it, basically, is what he told him. And so, I was watching your stream last night, Bangs. I don't know if I didn't see you get any wins, but I was watching your stream last night. So anyways, what's the word I'm looking for? So, you know, he hands this little bag over to Darby, and what does Darby pull out of it? Fucking plastic bag. Just like they did to just like Mox did to Danielson. So Darby takes the bag, and Moxley's all bleeding, right? So he puts the bag over Moxley's face, and he's like choking him out with it, and he can't breathe. And the visual here almost looked better than when they did it to Danielson, because Moxley's bleeding. So the bag is all like covered in his blood, right? And because the bag is all covered in his blood, it's like all hazy and fuzzy red, right? So very interesting and cool looking. So it looks like Darby's got the advantage. You know, Moxley's passing out, sort of whatever. And he goes to throw Moxley into the coffin. And he does, but he doesn't shut the lid because somebody else comes out. And it is a returning Pac with short hair. Oh my God. Pac with short hair looks weird. Pac with short hair, and the way he was dressed looked like a skater kid from 2002. Like, put him in the X Games. And so Pac comes out, beats the shit out of Darby, puts him in a body bag. Moxley gets out of the coffin. He tells him, throw him in there, and he throws him in the coffin, shuts the lid. Moxley wins because Pac came out and helped. And they talk on commentary how, oh my God, the Death Riders are now more scary because Pac's back and they added Garcia. They got more numbers. So, yeah, that's the whole thing. And that there was more to this a little bit later as well. So, Jon Moxley gets the win because basically Pac came out and won the match for him. We then have the 4-way for the Women's World Championship. Again, another match that I didn't write any notes for because nothing in this match really caught my eye. And then the finish was just out of nowhere. Like, I'm sitting here watching this show, got the pre-show on for WWE. Adam Pearce is on, so I'm like, what the fuck? Why is Adam Pearce on? What? They never have Adam Pearce or Nick Aldis on these pre-shows unless they're announcing something. So they then go, oh, hey, by the way, there's going to be a special ref in the tag match tonight. I'm like, oh, LA Knight, special ref? Cool. So I'm making a graphic for that, and all of a sudden I hear ding, ding, ding. Look over, and I'm like, what the fuck? Statlander just won the belt? That's weird. That's odd. Okay, cool. Didn't expect that. Chris Statlander, your new AEW Women's World Champion. I want to say first time she's won this belt. I could be wrong. I know she's been TBS champion. And Toni Storm's reign is just ended like that after 217 days. Just, the match just ends. It literally came out of nowhere. The finish just came out of nowhere. So Chris Statlander is now your new AEW Women's World Champion. We then go into the 4-way ladder match. It was Bro Dito defending the tag titles against the Young Bucks, Jet Speed, and the Don Callis families, Hedge Cicero and Josh Alexander. Really fun match. A lot of cool spots, a lot of cool ladder spots. And, you know, they did the thing I thought they were going to do. Hedge Cicero and Josh Alexander were really there to be the bases for everybody, and Brody King too. While you had Jet Speed and the Bucks doing their big moves, you had Bro Dito doing some cool stuff. And Give me 1 second. I just got a message about something that we might need to look at. Did they announce something? WWE announced something? Hold on. Someone just said, did you see the announcement? What announcement? Let me respond to this message really fast. Did you see WWE's announcement? What announcement? Hold on. Give me 2 seconds, guys. There's somebody I trust that like sends me stuff when they see stuff, so I don't know if like again, did we miss something on the post show? Well, Triple H, not in a suit, wearing a polo with the leather jacket over it. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Yeah, I don't see anything. So let me message him back really fast. What do you mean? What do you mean announcement? There we go. There we go. All right, we'll see if I don't know what this person's talking about. This person also talks to me about non-wrestling stuff, so something else could have got announced. Hall of Fame announcement. No, we all know about that. I already talked to him about that. How awkward that segment was with Undertaker and Stephanie. Trust me, I'm going to go in depth on that one. That was such an awkward way to announce that. But give me 2 seconds here to get back to my notes. So as far as, you know, this match does go, tag titles, ladder match, and all that. They're still doing the gimmick of Nick Jackson's going to run out of this money because he's spending it too much. They're paying for all this pyro and all this. Why is the stream lagging again? I'm not dropping frames. I don't understand what's going on. Lily, I don't understand why they announced this so soon either. The Stephanie thing. But so just some of the notes I got here. The Bucks and the Callis family tried to work together a lot during this match. You know, the Bucks aren't in the Don Callis family, but they're associated with the Don Callis family. So like going into the show, I was like, oh, wait, the stip for, no. Elite says, does O'Shea work for WWE? No, O'Shea Jackson. So I don't know how this is going to work with Rich. So Rich Eisen is now back with ESPN. O'Shea Jackson's podcast is part of Rich Eisen's podcast network. So I don't know if that's now part of ESPN or what. But O'Shea Jackson has no connection to WWE itself other than he's got a wrestling podcast with his buddy that's on the Rich Eisen podcast network, and they get WWE people on their show periodically to interview. So, Stephanie, no. Again, we're going to talk about the Stephanie stuff later. I don't think she knew. And yeah, I don't think she had a clue. But like I said, going into the show, I was like, the snip for the main event is that no one from the Don Callis family can interrupt in the main event on behalf of Kyle Fletcher. But the Young Bucks are associated with the Don Callis family, so maybe they can interfere and not burn the stip, I guess you would say. Anyways, so, you know, Don Callis family and the Bucks work together a lot early on, but then eventually that breaks up and they're all just fighting each other. Jet Speed and the Bucks do like a chicken fight thing until King and Bandito were kind of get in onto it, and they're doing like the on the shoulders chicken fighting. It's kind of a funny spot. Bandito and Alexander at one point fought up on the ladder where Bandito could have grabbed the titles, but opted to hit a sunset flip bomb on the ladder. Bandito then rolled to the apron where Matt flew in with a See You in Hell DDT. Matt and Nick and a Knight all hit stereo splashes from the top through tables. At one point, let's see, what else did I write down? Alexander was hit with the BTE trigger. King then cut off the Bucks from climbing the ladder, though. Handed Bandito a ladder and he moonsaulted off the post onto the Don Callis family. Eventually, King took out the Bucks with a tope. Bandito climbed the ladder, pulled down the titles, and retained the tag team championships. Fun match that went... I have the time here. Fun match that went 24, almost 25 minutes. So, yeah. Really cool, really fun. I would say if you're a fan of AEW ladder matches, like the old ladder wars from ROH, this was it. Like those old ROH ladder war matches, that's what this really felt like. And if you loved those matches with like SCU and the machine guns, and I think the machine guns were in some of those, but SCU and the Young Bucks and the Hardys were even in a couple of them. If you liked those old ROH ladder war matches, this felt really, really like one of those. So a match that, yeah, maybe you should go back and watch if you're a big ladder match fan, especially tag team ladder match. Then we had the main event. But before we had the main event, there was a segment in the back where they still had Darby in the coffin, in the body bag. And Moxley was like, Darby, I love you. And I want to give you some words of advice. Guys, you can leave. I'm going to stay here and finish this up, right? And so they jump in the back of the truck, the whole Death Riders drive off, and he opens up the coffin. Well, Darby had unzipped himself from the body bag, has a pipe in his hand, and he hits Moxley with the pipe. He knocks Moxley out, puts Moxley in the body bag, starts drenching it with lighter fluid and gasoline or whatever, lights it on fire, and is like, ha, 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 ha. Some guy runs up with the fire extinguisher and puts Moxley out immediately. And Darby's like, hey, what are you doing? Don't do that. Like, he's mad that this guy put him out. He's mad that this guy stopped Moxley from burning alive. What? And he's supposed to be the babyface? Okay, sure. Then we have our main event. His AEW World title is Hangman Page defending against Kyle Fletcher. These two went 38 minutes. They stated on commentary, this is the first time ever Kyle Fletcher has gone over 30 minutes. And I'm trying to sit here going, I think that's wrong. First time ever maybe in AEW. AEW. Because when they did... So, I'm trying to think. Will Ospreay's the last AEW or New Japan match. That Cage War, whatever, their version of like a War Games. That went over an hour. But I'm trying to think, was Fletcher, because, hold on. United Empire versus Bullet Club cage match. Trying to remember, how long did that match go? And was Fletcher in it? I can't remember. Let me see. Hold on. Pulling it up. Nope, that's not it. The dog pound cage match, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember if Fletcher was in it or not. That match was fucking insane, though. No, it looks like Fletcher might not have been in it. So maybe, yeah, Fletcher was not in that match. Okay, never mind. Because I knew they were part of the United Empire. But yeah, no, Fletcher was not in this match. Now that I'm looking. Huh. Nope. It was Hanare, Ospreay for the Empire. Hanare, Ospreay, Cobb, TJP. And they always forget the other two guys' names. But yeah. Never mind. So yeah. 38 minutes this match went, and this match was great. Like, when you think of just an old school, what everybody loves, big time main event world title match, that's what this was. The only thing I didn't like, and of course you probably can guess it, the table spot. Because the ref never warned them, the ref didn't DQ them, no, none of that. You set up a table, because that's what they do in AEW. You like to set tables up at ringside and put someone through a table in big matches. And it's like, wait, come on. Ref, it's not a no DQ match. So it's not AEW or the best wrestle. It's AEW where the rules don't matter. That's what it is. So yeah, that was the one thing I didn't like in this match, that they used the tables and no one got DQ'd. The ref didn't say anything about it or nothing. Other than that, this match was freaking great. These guys hit all their big moves. They hit a lot of other big moves. Speaking of big moves, I forgot to mention. Freaking Copeland did the John Cena comeback. Freaking grabbed him. The freaking throw down, Blue Thunder Bomb like move. You can't see me. 5-knuckle shuffle into an AA. Copeland did that. The Cena thing, because Cena paid tribute to him, so he paid tribute to Cena. Very cool. Very cool. But just a lot going on in this match. Way more for me to recap without notes. Because, like, holy shit. Again, this match went almost 40 minutes. But, like, some of the highlights that I did write down. Fletcher set Page over the barricade at one point where it looked like he was going to go for a crossbody, but Page countered into a power slam. There's a wrist clutch lariat by Page back inside for a good near fall, and an Orihari moonsault. Fletcher then shoved him off the ropes, crashing to the outside. I like that sequence a lot. I thought that was a really good sequence. They did the Orihari moonsault a couple of times in this match. Again, they did the dead eye through the table on the outside, and the ref just didn't do anything about it. And that really kind of just like, what are we fucking doing? What are we doing here? Rules. Late in the match, both got up slowly. Fletcher actually hit a hidden blade, but he went for a Stormbreaker and missed it. Page connected on a big pressure for a widely close 2. Page then went for a buckshot, but Fletcher countered into a small package that they really almost made you think he could have got, because commentary was losing their minds, and it was just like he had it with the leg hooked and everything. 1, 2, and barely kicked out at the last second. That was a good spot there. That was a really good spot. Countering the buckshot into the small package looked really, really good. Fletcher at one point was yelling at the referee. Told him to shut the fuck up. I forget exactly why. I don't know why I wrote that down, but that stood out to me. Oh, because he ripped the turnbuckle. I remember now. He ripped the turnbuckle pad off, and the refs tell him you can't do that or you're going to get DQ'd. Like, the table wasn't a DQ, though. And he's like, shut the fuck up. You know, at the referee. That's what it was. Now that I think back, I'm like, why would I have written that down? Because the ref actually admonished him about, hey, I'll DQ you if you throw him into that, but didn't the champion for putting him through a fucking table. So, yeah. Where was I? At one point, there was an avalanche brainbuster on the steel, but Page fought out of it with headbutts before slamming Fletcher face first into the exposed corner. So they ended up using it anyways, and the ref didn't do anything. Page connected with an avalanche deadeye that had Fletcher dropped almost right on his neck. This looked scary. Fletcher then stumbled to his feet. Page flew in with the buckshot and pinned him to pick up the victory. Post-match, an upset Callis ripped off his headset, and while Page whispered something to the downed Fletcher, he headed out as the show went off the air. So, I thought this was a great main event. Like, this is one of those where I'm like, go back and watch this match. Go back and watch Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher. And I loved Taz on commentary when he used the analogy of, I hate Page stating that Fletcher's not ready. That Fletcher's not ready to be the world champion. That Fletcher's not ready to lead this company. Because if you are good enough to be signed by AEW, to be on the pay-per-view, to be expected to put on a great main event, to be trusted with the main event of the show, that means you're ready. And to tell him that he's not is bullshit, is basically what Taz said. And I really, really liked that insight from Taz. Where Taz is like, if you're not ready, then you shouldn't even be in AEW. You should still be training and getting better to get here. And I'm like, well, there are some not great wrestlers in AEW, but I get Taz's sentiment. Like, we're the big leagues. Go back down to the minor leagues and train more. If you are told you're not good enough to be the world champion, then that means you're also not good enough to be here at all, because we want everybody to be good enough to, at one point, could at any time become the world champion, lead this company. So that's what Taz is basically saying, that everybody in this company should be good enough to at any time earn an opportunity to become the world champion. And I was like, man, this makes so much sense. This is such a great sentiment from Taz here. I really, really like that he was saying that. Like, you know, if you're going to come here to AEW, you've got to be one of the best. You've got to be ready to be a champion. And whether that's world champion, TBS, TNT, anything champion, whatever. But to be a face of the company as a champion, if you're not ready for that, then you shouldn't be here at all. If you don't think you're ready to be a champion of any level, you shouldn't be here at all. You should still be on the indies training, is basically what Taz was saying. So I like that a lot from Taz. But with all of that, I didn't read the rest of Elite's comment. Sorry about that. I just realized that. Well, I went back over to the chat there. He said, think about stuff, the crown jewel. I got off topic because the crown jewel thing. He also says, Stephanie McMahon is heading into the Hall of Fame 2026 as part of WrestleMania 2042 Vegas. Yes. And again, we're going to talk about all that because that segment was so awkward and so weird and so stupid. Maybe stupid's the wrong word, but you get what I'm saying. Moving forward, main event of the night, big show, WWE Wrestlepalooza on ESPN Unlimited. So, here's the thing. We've known about this for a month now. What is ESPN Unlimited? How do I get ESPN Unlimited? And granted, both ESPN and WWE did a terrible, shitty, horrible job at explaining how to get this, how to sign up, and how to watch on ESPN. They did. They really did. Because, Monday on Raw, Joe Test was like, oh, just log in with your cable provider and you're good to go. Then last night on SmackDown, Truth basically said the same thing. Most cable providers got you set up. All you got to do is log in with your cable provider and you're good to go. And I'm just like, that's not quite it. But it takes 3 seconds to figure this out. Go to the ESPN website and figure it out. It takes literally less than a minute to figure it out. Figure out that you got to pay $30 if you don't have Spectrum, if you don't have DirecTV Stream, if you don't have Fubo, and if you don't have, what's the other ones? Hulu Live, and I'm missing one. What am I missing, chat? Spectrum, Fubo, Verizon Fios. Other than that, you got to watch by paying. You got to pay $30 a month. Or you get a VPN and watch it on Netflix. Or do other means. Anyways, but those are your big two options. Use a VPN or pay $30 to watch it on ESPN. Now, I did see a lot of people having issues with the ESPN streaming. I didn't have a single issue on Netflix. It played just perfectly. Actually, even the quality of the stream was better than what I usually get on Netflix for Raw and SmackDown. And I always use the VPN. I always use the VPN to watch Raw and SmackDown because A, with Raw, I don't get commercials. And B, I don't, it's better to watch SmackDown through Netflix than USA Network because, again, you don't get commercials during matches. But I didn't get all the people complaining. I can't figure this out. I don't know where to go. What do I do? Blah, 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 blah. It wasn't that hard to find out. It wasn't that hard to figure it out. But I did see people saying, hey, it won't load at all. I did see people early in, during the Brock Cena match, it's buffering a lot. So, yeah. And then there's probably a lot of people that didn't have issues. Some did. Hopefully a lot, and most didn't. But again, I watched on Netflix. It ran smooth and perfect and was probably the best WWE on Netflix experience I've had so far with a live product. Of course, the McMahon thing, which really wasn't a WWE product, but the Unreal show that played perfect and was in 4K quality because, again, that's just an upload. But for a live thing, I think it was the best quality I've even had. Maybe once, and maybe it was just my internet itself, the quality dipped a little bit where it got a little pixelated for a minute or two, and then it was back to perfect. Again, probably the best quality I've had watching WWE on Netflix. But as far as the show does go, the show opens up. We get a new Then, Now, Forever Together video. They then run a big, WWE started in the past and we were not big time early on, but we were innovators. And ESPN started in the past and they were not big time early on, but they were also innovators, bringing you all the sports news from all around the world as much as they could, on your TV. And early on, there's a clip in this video of Vince. And he's standing there with the mic. He's like, welcome to la 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 la, right? And the crowd popped. I shit you not. They showed Vince and the crowd popped. Ah! Holy crap. Crowd popped for Vince. So, I don't know if that's telling or what, but the crowd popped for Vince. So all this happens, we get these two we get the new Then Now Forever. They play the big cold open, hyping up, ESPN was an innovator, WWE was an innovator, and, these two innovators of sports and entertainment are together, and they're changing the game once again. So then we set up for our first match of the night. Well, actually, before that, they tell us that commentary for the night is Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, which we knew Wade was there because Wade was on the pre-show in the first hour with Michael Cole. So this was dumb. And you can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. No, Bangs, we're talking WWE now. We're talking Wrestlepalooza. I should have had something on the screen to differentiate, but whatever. We're getting ready to start the show, and they're telling us, hey, we're here, we're your commentary team, and then a black truck pulls up. And out of this truck is Pat McAfee and Therese Halliburton. Okay, why can't I think of his first name all of a sudden? Anyways, they get out of this. Pat's music starts playing. And Michael Cole's losing his crap. Pat's here? What? Pat's here? I didn't even know Pat was coming. Did you know, Wade? Pat's here. And so Pat starts walking. He's all like, yeah, let's fucking do it. And Triple H comes up, puts his arm around Pat. He's like, good to see you, buddy. Tyrese Halliburton, that's his name. And so he's like, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, let's go get out there. And so Pat comes out and whoa, bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. So Pat's music plays. He comes out. He gets on the table. He's all happy. He's like, yeah, let's go. Whoa. And like, Pat, you're really here? No way. Oh, my God. And Cole goes, just don't take your pants off again. I don't need to see that much of your butt anymore, because if you didn't see, Pat did like a high dive thing during game day this morning. Pat was in Miami this morning, finished game day at 11, and had to be back in Indy by 7. So I was like, yeah, I had plenty of time, especially if he had the private jet. But still. And then Pat only stayed for the first 3 matches. Didn't stay for the mixed tag. Didn't stay for the main event. What the shit, Pat? Anyways. McAfee comes out. Dumb that they played it up like they didn't know Pat was going to be there. Like it was this big surprise. When I thought Pat himself on his show said, I'll be at Wrestlepalooza. I literally thought, like Triple H and him said it, that he would be at Wrestlepalooza. So, yeah, that confused the shit out of me. The funniest thing of all this, oh my God, I just remembered this. So Michael Cole, so Pat's coming, he walks through Gorilla, and as he's walking out onto the stage, Cole goes, Wade, did you know Pat was going to be here? And Wade goes, oh, there was a little scuttlebutt online. And Michael Cole goes, or on the internet, and Michael Cole goes, yeah, but the internet told me you were fired and you're here sitting next to me tonight. I lost it so much. I lost it when Cole said that. Basically, he's like, you can't believe the internet. The internet said we fired you and you're sitting here doing this show with me. I fucking lost it. I loved it. I thought that was so funny. Corey Graves made fun of it. And now Cole's making fun of the false reports. And hey. People get stuff wrong sometimes. Not everybody gets every story right. You hear things and you go, oh, that sounds credible. That source has been good to me in the past. Run it. But yeah, I laughed so hard at that line. So Pat comes out, him and Michael Cole dab it up. And Pat sits a commentary. And I'm like, okay, cool. Pat's going to be here all night. 3-man booth. Awesome. No. Also, Cole called him Mr. Indianapolis, Pat McAfee. So then we get our first match of the night. It's Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. Brock comes out first. Cena then comes out with a cool entrance. He had a bunch of kids with him. This was really, really cool. And they tell us that in their meetings, they've had 6 matches. Lesnar's up 4-2. And so, again, Cena came to the ring with a bunch of kids dressed exactly like him, which was really, really cool. And then, basically, as the match started, Lesnar stomped around the ring as Cena took a moment to highlight, everything going on. He was breathing in the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" chants. Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Alicia Taylor did the entrance. The never seen 17, greatest of all time, last real champion. And she goes to do Brock's intro, and we hear, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm like, no fucking way. My name is Paul Heyman. And he does the full Brock intro. Now, if you didn't see SmackDown last night, Brock saw Paul backstage and said, hey, we need to have a talk. We should have a talk. So Heyman was out there, did the intro for Brock, and then just dipped out. Left and wasn't there again until the next match with the Bronze. But that was very interesting. Is that supposed to be telling of something could come in the future? Are we going to see more Brock and Heyman together? I don't know. But the bell rings and Lesnar jumps Cena, sending him into the corner for some shoulder gut thrusts. Cena punched his way out of it, but Lesnar sent him to the mat with a clothesline. He followed up with another. Lesnar wiped Cena out in the corner, raising welts all over Cena's back. Lesnar then hit a British Bulldog style power slam and then threw Cena out of the ring with a suplex. Cena climbed back in, and Lesnar, just fucking put him in a bear hug and beat the shit out of him. And this was an old school 2012 Brock Lesnar, John Cena match. So I'm like, okay, Brock's going to beat his ass and beat his ass and beat his ass, and Cena's going to get the win. That's not what happened. Cena did fight out of the bear hug and hoisted him up on his shoulders, but Lesnar got free and hit another clothesline. They told us that, John Cena's got the AA, but he used to call that move the FU because of Brock Lesnar. Because back in the day, when Cena was doing his rapper gimmick, he fought Brock Lesnar once and said, F you, Brock, and then did the move to him, so he called the FU for a while. And so, Ronald, you're getting timed out. We're not doing any of that. So, anyways, Cena's getting his ass beat. Cena does make a little bit of a comeback where he makes a little bit of a comeback where he comes out of the bear hug and he hoists Brock up on his shoulders, but Lesnar got free and hit another clothesline. Lesnar then took Cena back to Suplex City and tossed him clear across the ring, one side to the other. Cena got up and shoved Lesnar into the turnbuckle, then hit a dozen shoulders and 2 back-to-back AAs. Cena hit a third, and Brock kicked out of 2. Cena then went for a you can't see me elbow, but Lesnar intercepted him and delivered 2 F5s. He landed a third F5, but seemed to be in pain in doing so, which was kind of weird. Lesnar then hit him again with an F5, bringing the total to 4 in a row, but he didn't try to go for the pin. Cena eventually got to his feet, staggered up, and got hit with a 5th F5, I guess you would say. Then a quick 6th F5, and then got pinned. 1, 2, 3. That was it. What a shit. And let's go to Wikipedia and see the times. I don't even know how long this match was. It was like 5 minutes, maybe. I didn't write down times. I always just use Wikipedia for that. This match went a total of 8 minutes and 50 seconds, but it felt like 5. It felt like one of those Brock Lesnar Goldberg sub 5-minute matches, like 5.5 minute matches. Yes, Elite, they mentioned that. They said that John Cena used to call the AA the FU because of Brock Lesnar. And because he said that John called it the FU because that's what he said to Brock once before doing it, when the move didn't have a name. Whether that's true or not, I don't remember, but that's what Cole said. So, yeah, this was just weird. Cena just got his ass beat. Cena had like 2 hope spots, if that, and then got beat. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so Michael Cole's on commentary, and he's just like, wow, that was crazy. What's next for Brock? Who's going to come after Brock? Who would want to mess with a man that looks this dominant? So, like, they made Brock look super dominant and then teased that there's someone next. Brock's going to be around. What's next for Brock, right? And so the match ends. Lesnar gets back, or leaves, gets back in the ring, grabs the ref, and hits with F5. I'm like, what? What? I think there's one more to Cena for good measure. He takes his gloves off and leaves. Cena staggers out of the ring, kind of like gets onto the apron, stands up for a second, and is just like, oh man. And he walks up the ramp, the crowd's chanting, thank you, Cena. Thank you, Cena. And he gets to the top of the ramp and he just stands there, back to the crowd. And Cena just stands there, stands there, and stands there. And eventually soaks it in and then leaves. And I love Tyrese Halliburton on the pre-show where he goes, kudos to WWE for coming here for this show to Indianapolis. One of the best things about this is we're the only city that gets John Cena twice on his retirement tour. Which I believe that to be true, unless Perth is getting Cena on multiple shows. Because in Perth, they're doing SmackDown, Crown Jewel, Raw. So if John's on any multiples of those shows, then technically they're getting John multiple nights as well. But yeah, I don't know what's next for Brock, what they got planned for Brock, but they did a thing here where they wanted Brock to look like a monster that no one can defeat. That is just domination. So then moving forward, we had a tag match. It was the Usos versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker with LA Knight as a special guest referee. And I know what you're going to say. If you followed me on Twitter tonight, if you followed me on Twitter, you're going to go, Tim, why did you say something about the table in the AEW main event, but you didn't say anything about a table in this match? Well, that's a difference. There's a difference. Because in the main event, that was a world title match with a real referee that is supposed to upkeep the rules. This was a special guest referee match where the special guest referee can basically make any rules he wants. So if he wants to let him use chairs and tables and shit, he can, and not DQ him because that's up to the referee. But if you're a real ref, you're supposed to upkeep all the rules. If you're a special ref, you could be a little more lenient and change the rules up. Which maybe Jey Uso should have told LA Knight to not let me use the chair because he threw that chair at Bronson Reed that bounced back at him and busted him open instantly. But anyways, there is a rumor that Gunther's coming back soon. Like, there was a rumor that he could have came back tonight. I don't know in what spot, but yeah. Jey Uso and LA Knight were in the match together, and there was a little bit of tension, I guess you would say, but not much. So, you know, they did the whole big intro with the Usos, and they yeeted, and Pat got on the table, and he was yeeting as well. Day one, ish, man, day one. You know, they did all that. And so early on, Reed and Jay started things off. They locked it up, and then Reed came out the better of the two and pounded Jay in the corner. Jay turned the tables with a kick to the ear and tagged in Jimmy. They double super kicked Reed and splashed him in the corner. Reed did fight back and tagged in Breaker. Breaker isolated Jimmy in the corner and laid in some shoulder blocks and shoulder tackles before throwing him outside. Breaker distracted the referee, LA Knight that is, and Reed went for a chair. But Knight saw it and told him to stop. At this point, he told him to stop. So they brought Breaker to the outside, and Jay hit a splash from the top on all three of them. Back in the ring, Jimmy and Reed fought in the corner, while Jay and Breaker battled on the outside. Breaker got the best of Jay and pulled the rope down, so Jimmy spilled back to the outside. Breaker then took a running leap and hit a shoulder on Jimmy. He tossed him back in the ring and went for a cover. At one point, Reed set up a chair in the ring, and after a back and forth, Jimmy went for a hot tag, but Reed got one first, and Breaker stormed across the ring and knocked down both Usos. Reed got Jimmy up on his shoulders and basically gave him a bulldog from the top rope. Oh, shit. That thunder shook my old desk. Holy crap. That was a loud one. Like I said, we've had thunder and lightning for the last couple hours. I bet you if I open this curtain right here, you'll see a bunch of lightning strikes. Anyways, Jay at one point reappeared on the apron, and Jimmy finally got the tag to him. Breaker ran in, and Jay punched him into the corner. He had a crossbody on Breaker, but only got a 2 count off of it. Jimmy then pulled the table from under the ring and sent it to his brother. They then both set it up in the middle of the ring, but Breaker and Reed popped up and took them out. Reed then set up the table in the corner with an assist from Knight. I'm like, what? What? Why is the referee helping them put the table up in the corner? I don't get that at all. Anyways, Jay staggered up, and Breaker went for a spear. Jay caught him in a super kick, and Jimmy hit one on Reed. The Usos then went for the 1D, but Reed broke up the pin at 2. At one point, Knight and Reed were arguing at ringside, allowing Jay to hit his super kick and a dive through the ropes. Knight questioned if he was aiming at him or not. This is when Paul Heyman kind of was staggering around the ring going, oh, ref's distracted. Here you go, Breaker. And he throws him a chair. He throws Breaker a chair, and he tried to sneak in a shot on Jay. Jay intercepted it and went to hit Breaker, but Breaker ducked, and Jay almost hit Knight. He then threw the chair at Reed, which then bounced back at him and hit him in the face. Oh, crap. That one really shook everything. Holy shit. Like I said, this thunder and lightning is close as shit to the house. That one shook everything. So Jay's busted open at this point. Jay intercepted a shot and went to, like I said, went to hit Breaker through the thing of Reed, blah, blah, blah. Breaker hit a spear on Jay coming across the ring, covered in Jay's blood. Breaker then speared both Usos through the table in the corner. He set up Jay, and Ray went for a tsunami. That did it, though. That was it. Tsunami got the pin, 1, 2, 3. Usos lose, the Vision win. So afterwards, doctors are checking on Jay. Jimmy's there checking on him. The referee's there, or like another referee or whatever, medical staff. And so, yeah, that was a scary one. Like, Jay got, I don't want to say it, but the way he was staggering around after he got busted open, hope he doesn't have a concussion. The way the doctor was checking on him, I don't know if it was like a deep cut, but he was bleeding a lot. So, yeah. Fun match. I like the dynamic with LA Knight as the referee. So, yeah, it was entertaining for sure. Not like go back and watch it if you missed it kind of match, but like I enjoyed it for what it was. Like I enjoyed the entire match. So then moving forward, we had the vacant women's championship on the line. The women's world championship was Io Sky versus Stephanie Vakir. This was a really good match. These two worked very well together. The crowd was hot for most of it, and they put on a hell of a match. So as far as the match does go, the two locked up early, with Vakir sending Sky to the mat. The two chain wrestle for a little bit, with Vakir ending up getting Sky in a waistlock. Sky fought out of it, and the two ran the ropes for a second before flipping into a few pinning combinations with the crowd cheering the technical wrestling. Vakir then hit a backdrop, but Sky was able to avoid the Devil's Kiss. Sky then hit a chop block and a drop kick to send Vakir to the ropes. Then she stomped her and hoisted her up for a scoop slam. Sky then dropped some double knees on Vakir and rolled her over into a knee lock. Vakir kicked her way out of it and wrangled Sky into a tarantula around the ropes. At one point, after a brief exchange in the ring, Sky hit a stalling backbreaker on Vakir, and both women kind of collapsed. Sky then got back to her feet first and hit a... Holy shit, that was a loud one. Jesus Christ. The thunder's getting worse. Like, about an hour and a half ago, right before we started the stream, this thunder was super loud. Then it kind of calmed down for a minute. It's back. We got this loud thunder. I don't know if it's coming through the microphone, which if it's not, that means I've set my microphone up perfectly. But like this shit's getting loud again. Holy crap. I almost want to go look outside really fast to see if it's raining really bad. Because like it started raining and within like less than 5 minutes, the whole street was flooded. That's how much rain we got in a short period of time. Anyway, sorry to keep getting distracted. My goddamn dyslexia. I get distracted very easily. Anyways, so where was Sky got back to her feet first, hit a missile drop kick from the top rope. The crowd was really into it, and Sky hit a suicide dive on Vakir to the outside. They staggered to their feet, and we see all these Old Spice logos around. And since they're at ringside, we really notice them here. But Vakir was tossed back into the ring Vakir was tossed back into the ring, or Sky tossed Vakir back into the ring. My bad, I read that wrong. Sky then tried a sunset flip bomb, but Vakir had it scouted and sent Sky off the apron with the double knees. Vakir then dove on her and threw her back into the ring again with the springboard crossbody. At one point, Vakir went back to a suplex and hit it. Vakir then took too much time to set up for the Devil's Kiss, and Sky managed to knock her down and lock her in a crossface. Vakir then flipped out of it and got the knees into Sky. At one point, Vakir dragged Sky to the center of the ring and locked in the Devil's Kiss, pounding Sky's head into the canvas over and over again. She then hit her signature bomb and went for the pin, but Sky kicked out at a close 2. Vakir then went up top, but Sky went up after her, and they battled on the top rope. Sky then set up Vakir for a Spanish fly, but seemed to knock her own knee in the process. Sky went for the pin, and Vakir kicked out at 2. Digging deep, Sky exposed her knee with a bullet train attack in the corner. She then hit a running knee right to Vakir's head and dragged her into position for the over-the-moonsault. Sky leapt, but Vakir rolled out of the way. Vakir then went to the top and hit a spiral moonsault. So like an AJ-style spiral tap. She then landed it and pinned Sky for the 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Stephanie Vakir, the new WWE Women's World Champion. Now, it looks like they're trying out new finishers for Stephanie, because on Monday, she did a new version of the SVB, where instead of it being just the shitty little backbreaker, which just always felt like just a move, she didn't do like a lung blower, double knees. Now, she did hit that SVB at one point, but not as a finish. She won, though, with the spiral tap. So I'm like, ooh, that's a cool move for her. Okay. I liked the underhook flip into the lung blower, though. I really liked that one. But this was a great match. Probably the best match of the night as far as just in-ring goes. So, yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one a whole hell of a lot. So then all of a sudden, they're just like, all right, Pat, you're done? Cool. See ya. Have a good one. And he just leaves. I'm like, what? What? He's just gone. Okay. Cool. Whatever. Then this sets up the mixed tag. I really would like to talk to somebody who was at the show live, because Seth and Becky had this entrance on this like scissor lift thing. Not really scissor lift thing, but this lift, this hydraulic lift that saw them ascending from the crowd or the skies, right? But I want to know, did the people there live have to watch them set it up? Have to watch Becky and Seth get on it, get lifted up, and then slowly back down? Like, did you have to watch all of that? Ooh. I want to shook everything again. Damn. Did you guys have to watch all of that? Because if you guys had to watch that live, damn, that sucks. Because it's not like, oh, you turn all the lights off, they set it for the entrance, you can't see it because it's dark, whatever. No, you probably were watching the video package on the screen with the lights from the video screen illuminating all what they were doing. Anyways. But it's not like the old Titantron where the screen's big up here, you're looking up while they're setting things up down here. You know what I mean? So anyways, nitpicking. So they come out. Seth's music hits first. Burn it down. Burn it. Whoa. So they do Seth's music as they're coming down. As they go to step off, Becky's music then hits. The man has come around. Becky's new music. Now that I've heard it a couple of times, it's a hell of a song. Like, it's a really just good song. And so basically they come down to Seth's music, walk out to Becky's music. They're wearing matching purple jackets and they got matching gear on and everything. And Punk's music hits. Look in my eyes, what do you see? So he walks out first. He comes out on the stage. He kind of just stands there for a second and he looks around. Then we hear, light it up, light it up, and AJ comes out and she soaks it all in. She skips her way out, and oh my God, Punk is just elated as he's been since AJ returned. And it was funny because on the post show, Punk is just praising. Every time Joe Tessitore tries to mention anything that Punk did, Punk goes, nope, it's all her. And he's like, I think it was like Joe Tess or somebody says something about Punk just praising her. And she's like, yeah, I know it's awkward. It's every day of my life. He's always just praising me for something. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I have ever seen somebody who loves, respects, and praises his wife as much as CM Punk does. And that is not he's putting on an act on TV. That is not at all. That is real life. Because we see videos sometimes. Like there was one time she was doing a book signing for her like graphic novel. And Punk just showed up there with Larry and had for her and the other girl. Oh, fuck, what's her name? She was in George Lopez. Amy something. Anyways, he had like flowers for them and everything. And he was just there just to, hey, you're doing cool things. I want to say congratulations. You're here doing a book signing. And so it's just like stuff like that. Like this man, I think more than any man ever loves his wife more than any man has ever loved their wife. I swear to God. So they come down to AJ's music. They get in the ring. Everything starts. And I'm going to say it right now. This match was fun. But if you didn't see it, you didn't miss it. Amy Garcia. Thank you, Messi. I knew it was Amy something. Yeah, if you didn't see it, it was a 30-minute match that, cool. I can't really recommend to go out of your way to go back and watch this match. Because yes, it was fun. And it was really like entertaining to watch live. But I can't. Oh, fuck. That one was loud. And it's still going. That was a good 4 or 5 second one. But yeah, no, that's the one negative about this match, that I almost can't recommend the whole, hey, if you didn't see it live, go back and watch it. Because again, I could for Stephanie and Io. Like that match, fuck, go watch that match. But this one was just like, it was fun to watch in the moment and watch live. But it's not like, hey, I'm never going to go back and watch it again. So why would I recommend somebody go out of their way to watch it? You know what I mean? And it had the finish I predicted all along, and they played it up exactly what I thought they were going to do on commentary. AJ beats Becky, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, she just tapped out the Women's Intercontinental Champion. What could that mean for the future? So yeah. So as far as the match does go, also on Punk's jacket, it said AJ's husband. Anyways, AJ Lee wanted to start the match. Looked like Becky was going to start the match with her, and then Becky goes, nah, I'm good. She gets on the apron, so the men have to start. And they sort of did a little man-on-woman stuff in this match. But it was more woman on man. And like, yeah, I would have liked a little more. I hope that doesn't sound bad, but like I would have loved to see Punk actually hit Becky with a GTS or something. The closest thing we got was he put her in a sharpshooter. Okay, cool. Anyways, so they start the match. The crowd starts chanting GTS. And they start chanting for AJ. They want her in. And it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. They're building to it. They know they can't start with AJ. Of course. No, you need to build to it and have the crowd want her and want her and want her and want her and want her, and want her until the crowd is peaked. And then you know you're going to get that biggest pop possible. It's like when Randy Orton's in a tag match. You never start Randy in the tag match. You let the crowd build to wanting Randy Orton, and then boom, he finally gets tagged in and they lose their shit. So anyways, Seth and Punk start things off, and they're going back and forth for a while. And then eventually, you know, AJ gets the tag. Lynch is in the ring. She bails. AJ chases her, pops back in and tags Seth immediately, so nothing can happen there. Rollins and Lynch then started making out. CM Punk then hits a big dive, suicide dive. Seth throws Becky out of the way, and he takes the dive into the announce table. He then threw Rollins into the barricade and leapt off of them as they fought in the crowd. Rollins then ran back into the ring, and Punk went for a headlock. Rollins then sent him into the corner, and Lynch reacted over, and Lynch reached over and choked him from behind the ref's back. Punk then shook it off and returned the favor, driving Rollins into the corner for Lee to mess with him out of the ref's sight. Punk then grabbed Rollins for an atomic drop, followed by a big chop. He then landed an axe handle on Rollins' head and went up top and shot from the top rope. Rollins then crumbled, and Punk tried again, but Rollins kicked him instead. Punk then bounced off the ropes and caught a kick from Lynch. Rollins then stomped him until he rolled out of the ring, where Lynch sent him into the steps. Lee then ran around to help, but Rollins got in her way. Rollins grabbed Punk and laid him out on the announce table, punching him over and over. He then tossed him back into the ring and hit an axe handle from the top rope. Punk tried to stand up, and Rollins stomped his hand as he delivered some chops before kicking him in the face. Rollins then went over and kissed Becky and threw Punk onto the ropes with a big knee, and then he backed him off with a shot to the head. Punk reached for Lee, but Rollins wouldn't let it happen. Punk threw some punches, and Rollins held him back. Lee bounced on the ropes as Rollins whipped Punk into the corner. Punk tried to crawl for the tag. Rollins intercepted him with the suplex. Punk then blocked it and tried for one of his own, and Rollins blocked it. They then went back and forth until Punk executed a suplex and crawled over to get the tag. Rollins cut him off yet again. Did I say Braun and Lynch? Did I? I didn't mean to. It says Seth and Lynch. My bad. Anyways, Punk fought through Rollins' offense, pushing him closer and closer, finally to get the hot tag, but the ref didn't see it. The ref was dealing with Becky. So yes, AJ tagged in, but then referee Jessica Carr was like, no, you didn't. I didn't see it. Get back out of the ring. Get back out of the ring. So it's still Punk and Seth. She put Lee back in her corner, allowing Rollins to follow up with Lynch, and they hit a double team on Punk. Rollins then lifted Becky up And eventually he's just got her up in this military press, and he goes to throw her down on Punk, but Punk moves and she takes a face bump right into the ring. Rollins then charged Punk, who sent him out, and just before he could get the tag, Lynch pulled Lee off the apron. So again, no tag to AJ. They're really building to this hot tag. In the ring, Rollins hit a Falcon Arrow, and Punk kicked out of 2. Rollins then skipped around, making fun of AJ Lee. He rolled out of the ring and skipped around again before climbing back in. The mocking might have gone a little too long here. Punk scooped him up and hit a GTS, knocking Rollins out cold. Punk went to tag Lee, but Lynch grabbed the foot of CM Punk. And right here, they showed us, oh, Punk's a lot more strong. The man's got more power than the woman. Becky's got the leg here, right? And she's holding Punk's leg like, no, she's trying to like pull him back, but she's got like nothing. She can't pull him at all. Punk kind of hops back, and is just like, what are you really going to do? What are you going to, hold on. Tag my wife. Now you got to fight her. I wasn't a big fan of that. Like, it really made it to where, like, oh, Becky's the weak woman against the big man Punk. You know what I mean? So Lee climbs the turnbuckle, or Lee whips Becky into the turnbuckle after stomping her. Gives her the 10 punches before Lynch actually, the punches before Lynch. He kind of gets out of it. AJ then hits her with a nice spin kick. Looked great. Also, is it just me, or does AJ actually look a little taller than she did 10 years ago? It's maybe that she's just, her body's more slim and toned, and so it makes her look taller. But for some reason, to me, her legs look longer, especially when she did that big spin kick. Okay, Ballard, who's Tom? I agree, Tom. That was a great match. Who's Tom? I don't even know what you're talking about. Anyways. Where was I? AJ goes to the top rope and hits a big crossbody and gets a 2 off of it. Lynch barely kicks out. Lee then pulled Lynch to her feet, and the 2 trade slaps. Rollins then rolls back in and pulls Lee off of Lynch. He then gets slapped for his troubles before she hits a DDT on Lynch. Rollins then grabbed her, but Punk arrived, and this was really cool. So, like, Rollins goes and grabs AJ. So he's holding her like he's going to, hit her with the, what's it called? German suplex kind of deal, right? And Punk all of a sudden shows up, and Seth freezes and just kind of stands there. So he grabs AJ by the legs and throws her to where she flips back, sliced bread to Seth, splash right on Becky. This looked great. This was super cool. Lynch and Rollins were dazed here. They're each in the corner. Punk hit a dueling bulldog and a shining wizard. Lee tried for the Black Widow submission, but couldn't quite get it. Like, it looked very weird and very awkward. Like, she couldn't get it all in. Like, her top leg was not up high enough, and this looked not good. The one later looked perfect. But where was I? Rollins jumped in to try to make the save. A Punk grabbed him and locked him in a sharpshooter. Rollins then kicked his way out of it. Lee then put a Black Widow on Seth. Lynch broke it up, and Rollins hit a double pedigree on, and then they hit the double pedigrees, one on Punk and one on Lee. At one point, Punk caught, I just skipped the whole part. Rollins and Lynch then made motions that they were going to hit dueling GTSs. Punk got off of his, and then eventually Lee got out of hers, which this looked very weird because, like, Punk wriggled and jiggled and got out and got out of the ring, and Becky's just like standing there going, "Oh, he got out. Oh, he got out. Oh, I got to hit mine." So she goes to do the thing, and AJ lands on her feet and then grabs Becky and hits her with a Bexploder. Rollins then grabbed her ankle and dropped her. So that was some of the man-on-woman violence. He literally grabbed her, yanked her hard. Like, he yanked her legs out from under her, and boom, she went face first into the mat. Yet Punk then came in and hit a curb stomp on Rollins, and Lynch began hitting Punk. Punk caught her foot, and this was enough for him to lock her in a sharpshooter, but Rollins interfered, and Lynch put Punk in a sharpshooter. Punk powered out and reversed it back into a sharpshooter. Rollins then broke it up with a pedigree and a curb stomp. Rollins then went for the pin, but AJ broke it up with, I guess you could say, kind of her version of a stomp. Lynch then grabbed AJ and hit her with a manhandle slam, and oh my God, AJ landed on the back of her head. Her head basketball bounced. Her head basketball bounced on the mat. Lee kicked out at 2, which I don't think she kicked out at 2. The ref pulled her count, and then AJ kicked out because it was 1, 2, like that. Before AJ finally, like it was just off by that much, right? But I think AJ was just, hopefully she's fine. She seemed fine afterwards on the post show. But again, the ref, Jessica Carr, was 1, 2, like not even like, she came maybe halfway down before, and she pulled the pin, right? Pulled the count. And then AJ's arm goes up like, oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, where was I? At this point, everyone starts brawling. Liam Punk set up Rollins and Lynch on the outside, and Punk flipped the Rollins over the announce table. Lee then kind of went into crazy AJ mode. She cleared off the announce table. So then Punk clears off the announce table, and Wade goes, well, he's just taking orders from his wife. So they looked like they were both going to hit like pedigrees or manhandle slams or something or whatnots on the tables, but then they were reversed to where Rollins and Lynch were both going to hit manhandle slams on their opponents. Rollins then was about to go for the manhandle slam. Punk like kind of reversed it. So Becky grabbed AJ and threw her from one table to the other. She crashed into Seth and Punk. Their table breaks. AJ literally bounces gut first on the table. This was like, holy crap. Looked like AJ got messed up. But she was fine. She was fine. And so tables break. They're all out, and it's just holy shit. So this is kind of like towards the end of the match. Rollins and Lynch. Oh. You guys heard that one, right? Hold on. Okay. My waveform, when I got quiet, spiked a little bit from that last thunder. Holy crap. So you guys had to have at least heard part of that last one. Oh, that one was close. Like I said, we've been having this for the last like 2-3 hours, if not longer. Anyways, then everything kind of got a little messy. So they all go through the tables, and the next thing I know, like I don't know if I like stopped paying attention for a minute or what, but like Becky and AJ were back in the ring all of a sudden. I think it was Becky was going to go for a manhandle slam. AJ reverses it into a Black Widow, and Becky just taps really quick. So, yeah, that whole like ending sequence there just went so boom, 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 boom that I almost was like, what the heck just happened? So, but yeah, AJ Lee taps out Becky Lynch with the Black Widow. And basically, I think what's going to happen is AJ is now going to make claim for a shot at the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And I think she should win. The match again went 29 minutes and 18 seconds. So then we have our main event. But before we talk about that, let's hear from our sponsor, Factor. Let's be real. Life moves fast and dinner shouldn't slow you down. That's where Factor comes in. Factor 75 delivers fresh, never frozen meals straight to your door so you can skip the grocery store, the prep, and the cleanup. Just heat and eat and get back to crushing your day. Whether you're keto, calorie conscious, or just want to eat clean without sacrificing flavor, Factor has chef-crafted options that actually taste like real food. Maybe you want pancakes for breakfast, chicken for lunch, and a steak for dinner. Factor has you covered. And here's the kicker. These meals are ready to go in just 2 minutes. That's less time it takes to scroll through your delivery app and regret your choices. So if you want to fuel your hustle without any hassle, then sign up for a Factor 75 subscription today. Use our code below, scan the QR code on the screen, or use our link in the description to get 50% off your order. Eat smart, live fully with Factor. And we're back. I said we're ready for our main event, but before we talk about the main event, we got to talk about this awkward Hall of Fame announcement. So Triple H had stated we're going to have a lot of surprises at WrestlePalooza. And at this point, we had none. At this point, we had zero. And so we come back and there's just this wide shot of the arena. And nothing's happening. No one's talking. All of a sudden, the lights all go out. Everything. All the video boards, everything. And then we just hear, I am the American badass. And Undertaker comes out. Taker comes out. This man shaved since last weekend, where he had the long gray and red beard. Well, not long, but you know what I mean? Like the goatee coming down, and it was gray and red, and it was like, oh my God, he's old. He still looks old, of course, but. So Taker comes out, and he comes out on the stage, and he revs the bike, puts the arm up, rides down. He goes to he makes his right-hand turn. He goes to make a left-hand turn, and he stops. He stops. He's got a microphone in hand. He's like, looks over, Stephanie McMahon sitting in the front row. And again, I don't think Stephanie knew anything was going to happen. I don't think Stephanie had a clue what was happening here. And so Stephanie is just sitting there, and Undertaker walks over to her. He's like, hey, what's up? Seat taken? Mind if I sit next to you? And I'm like, what? Okay. So he goes and he sits down next to Stephanie in the crowd. And he goes, man, feels a little weird sitting on this side, doesn't it? And so he starts talking about how last week they were both in Vegas and they were at the fight in Allegiant Stadium, and Stephanie was like there behind him or something like that and everything. And Stephanie's just sitting there going, well, you know, Mark. And it's like the most awkward. I've got a crush on this guy. I've had a crush on this guy forever. Oh my God, the man that I want to date is sitting next to me, and I don't know what to do. Bobby fucking Ricky Bobby don't know what to do with my hands. Stephanie's sitting there going, well, you know, yeah. Oh, don't make me blush. I'm just like, what the fuck are we watching? And then eventually Undertaker just goes, well, you know, Steph, something I need to announce. And I'm like, okay. He goes, well, you know what? I've never said this before. Are you ready? Are you ready? And she's still just like, oh my God, it's the Undertaker. Right? Right? And he just does it like 2 more times. Are you ready? And then eventually he just goes, I'm here to announce, Stephanie McMahon, you are the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2026. And she kind of just goes, what? No. And she's just, you can tell she had no clue. No clue. They hug, and he's like, congratulations. Like, he gets up and leaves. Nick Khan's son runs over and gives her the biggest of hugs. Nick Khan then comes over and gives her a big hug. And they're like, Stephanie McMahon, in 2026, we'll be going into the WWE Hall of Fame. And they have this thing or whatever. This was the most awkward segment I've seen in I don't know how long. Stephanie over there just super giddy for Undertaker. Like, the man that I've been watching from afar on the playground is talking to me. Oh my goodness. He's sitting next to me. Like, it's just one of those giddy schoolgirl, oh my God, my crush is here. I don't know what to say or do. It was so awkward. But hey, I think it's the earliest they've ever announced a Hall of Fame inductee. But yeah, Stephanie will be going into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2026. I mean, we knew it was coming eventually. But I guess the year after her husband, sure, cool. Whatever. And as far as who else goes in, probably won't know for another 6-7 months. But again, I think that Stephanie had no clue. Because the way she was all super giddy, like, what's going on? What are you doing? Why are you sitting next to me? What? And then when he says, you're the first inductee into the Hall of Fame in 2020, she's just, like, she's just, huh? What? Like, it was just so awkward. So awkward. The crowd cheers. Again, Nick Khan's son runs over and gives her a big hug. Nick gives her a hug, and yeah. Okay. Cool. Elite, next year's not Saudi. Next year is Vegas too. So then we have our main event. The undisputed WWE Championship on the line. Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre. They do the big intros and everything. Referee holds up the belt. And then for some reason, Drew comes over and just pushes the belt aside. He's like, nope, nope, nope. And they turn all like the lights on and they got like the good camera in the ring. And I shit you not, I felt like this was a no clouds in the sky, super bright, sunny in the middle of the day outdoor show. Like this was like the lighting on this and the camera and everything was perfect. So McIntyre starts things off by approaching Rhodes and opening his arms, asking for like a hug, I guess you would say. Rhodes didn't go for it though. And the two start fighting with McIntyre sending Rhodes into the ropes and landing a headlock. The two trade blows with Rhodes landing a bionic elbow and bringing McIntyre down to his knees. Rhodes went for a Cody cutter, but stalled and seemed to fall over, indicating that maybe he isn't 100%. He put a waistlock on McIntyre, but he fought out of it and arm dragged Rhodes. Rhodes hit a disaster kick and sent McIntyre out of the ring. Rhodes went for a suicide dive, but McIntyre caught him and sent him into the ring post before throwing Rhodes over the announce table. He put Rhodes back in the ring and stumbled once again, allowing McIntyre to get a couple of belly-to-belly throws in. McIntyre charged at Rhodes, and Rhodes moved, sending him into the ring post. McIntyre lured Rhodes out of the ring and hit an Alabama slam, the reverse one, onto the steps. He then threw Rhodes back in the ring, could only get a 2 off of it. Rhodes covered up as McIntyre was stomping and punching on him. McIntyre went up top to the top turnbuckle, but Rhodes followed him up there and landed a superplex. Both slowly got to their feet and started trading punches. Rhodes landed a power slam and then a disaster kick. He landed a Cody cutter and then kind of just got dazed again, I guess you would say. He then set up McIntyre for a crossroads, but McIntyre got away and delivered a Glasgow kick. He then grabbed Rhodes on the top turnbuckle and hit a white noise, and they were like, oh, homage to his buddy Sheamus. Oh, damn, that one shook everything. God damn, this thunder is getting crazy. Anyways, you guys go for Claymore. Rhodes caught him, stacked him for a 2. Rhodes then wrapped McIntyre up in a figure 4. But he was able to throw him off of him. While the ref checked on Rhodes, McIntyre pulled the top turnbuckle pad off. McIntyre stacked up Rhodes, but the ref was out of position and couldn't count the 3 here. Rhodes took advantage of the situation and hit a crossroads. McIntyre kicked out of 2. McIntyre then landed a Claymore, but Rhodes wouldn't go down and kicked out of 2. On the outside, McIntyre set up Rhodes against the announce table for a big boot. The ref tried to stop McIntyre, but then he went for it, and Rhodes rolled out of the way. McIntyre kicked the announce table and screamed that his foot was in pain, like his ankle or whatever. He then went back in and hit a Glasgow kiss. McIntyre tried for a Claymore, but his leg buckled, allowing Rhodes to hit a super cutter. Rhodes then hit a picture-perfect crossroads and pinned Drew 1, 2, 3. Just clean, right in the middle. Just right in the middle. So the show goes off the air with Cody in the middle of the ring with a belt. Doctor's checking on Drew with his boot off. He's over here, my ankle, my ankle. So, yeah. Don't think it's a real injury. Maybe it's real. Jay got messed up. We know there was at least one somewhat injury on the show. Drew's might be selling from the table Claymore ankle thing. But, yeah. Cody retains. And it looks like next for Cody is Seth. Champion versus champion. Crown Jewel titles. So, yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, was both AEW All Out and WWE Wrestlepalooza. As far as what I thought of the shows, I thought AEW had a pretty good show. The middle of that show was pretty boring, but then the main event was awesome. And the WWE show was, from start to finish, an entertaining show. So, yeah. With all of that, you know what I thought. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of this show. Let's go and check all of these polls. Refresh. I never got a message back from that one person that said, you see the WWE announcement. What WWE announcement? He might have been talking about the Crown Jewel thing, though, from the post show. As far as the threads poll does go, 52% thought that Wrestlepalooza was just all right. And then 25% liked it and 23% didn't like it. As far as so it looks like this Wrestlepalooza is right in the middle. As far as the Twitter poll goes, 39% liked it. No, 39% thought it was just all right. 32% didn't like it and 28% did like it. Excuse me. As far as the community poll, 62% liked the show, 26% thought it was just all right, and 13% didn't like it. As far as the live poll does go, 56% liked the show, 23% didn't like the show, and 22% thought it was just all right. And finally, everybody that voted on Twitch liked the show. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we'll be back live on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time. All right, let's see. We could send you guys to. You know what? We're sending you guys to Joe. Cronin's still live. So go over there, hang out with Joe and his people if you're watching on YouTube, and have a great night. And if you're watching on Twitch, let's set a raid really